Welcome to Enumclaw. We're just heading out of the QFC, the little local grocery store here, walking over to Veterans Park. Why I'm showing you guys this little suburb today is because I think it is the best suburb when it comes to country living, Main Street living in the general Seattle area, if I'm being completely frank with you. Now listen, when I moved here from Missouri, I thought I was entering a whole different world. Like there was nothing that really reminded me of the Midwest at all. And then I got invited to a dinner out here in Enumclaw at the Rainier Bar and Grill. And at this point, I was shocked. Like, if you are looking to live somewhere that reminds you of the Midwest, that has Midwest values, and is in the greater Seattle area, Enumclaw is that place. Guys, this is why you have to reach out to us. All right, we know all these little suburbs, all these little towns, what could be right for you, what might not. And we want to make sure you don't move to the wrong neighborhood. So our information is right there in the description box below. Shoot us a call, text, or an email, set up your one-on-one consultation. And we got your back when it comes to moving to Seattle or Tacoma. All right, here we are at Veterans Memorial Park. As you can see, it's beautiful and green, just like everything here in Washington. This park is right off the main road, and I love always driving by it and seeing this little structure right here. It's got the big Purple Heart in it, you know, very patriotic. Again, something that was very reminiscent of the Midwest and, you know, living there. And this isn't the only park. In fact, Enumclaw, just like most towns in the PNW, have a ton of parks. Garrett Park is probably my favorite park in all of Enumclaw because it has an awesome skate park. So as opposed to going into the city and dealing with all of that, if you've got young kids, for example, that are looking to, you know, try to learn skateboarding or BMXing, they're not having to compete with everybody in those areas. They can just go out, ride their bikes, have fun. It's a really nice setup for a smaller town because Enumclaw is only about 12,000 people. So you're not overly packed in here like you're gonna be in some of these Seattle suburbs. Now this is a little bit to the southeast of Seattle. The average commute for someone that lives in Enumclaw is about 33 minutes. So, you know, we are gonna have to drive a little bit more, but we're taking that risk because we want to have that small town feel, that country living, that neighborly, just overall environment that you're not gonna get that in the city, okay? If that's something that you're interested in, keep watching. We're gonna jump right on down to Cole Street, sort of the little downtown area here in Enumclaw. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite spots there and why we think this is a great place to live. All right, here we are on Cole Street. See behind me the big Enumclaw statue that everyone knows. Now, the reason I wanted to show you Cole Street specifically is because this is where life really kind of happens here. And like I told you before, like we're looking at more of like a downtown, you know, Main Street America type of living here in Enumclaw. So this is where everybody comes down to hang out. This place right here, Headworks, that's a killer little brewery. There's Stacks right outside, which is a killer, like an amazing burger joint. Grab you a beer, brewski, whatever, smash a burger and just kick it. So this right here, walking down the road, is Cole Street. Now what I will tell you is if you live in Enumclaw and you do move here, that especially on the weekends, you can really expect to see this place just jam-packed, filled up. The locals really get out here and they support small business. They support the restaurants. Like I said, Enumclaw's big on wine, so you're gonna see people out here having wine, eating at the restaurants, mingling, and Enumclaw downtown here on Cole Street really kind of gives you that like almost like a Hallmark Christmas movie type vibe, especially in the winter. Freaking Love that, man. Like, it just feels magical to me. And as we cross the street here, I'm gonna show you a place that's like actually really important to me. See if we not get hit by a car here. So right here is Bordeaux. It's a really awesome winery. You can get a really cool package there. It's like $50 a month. You get a bottle of wine, you get a charcuterie board, and you can pretty much hang out there whenever you want. Now we have it, and so does Chris, my fellow team leader here on the Titus Robertson team. We both have it. So what we like to do is we have to get together, come out here to Bordeaux, have a glass of wine with the wives, share a couple charcuterie boards, and just kind of decompress, really. It's a really nice place. It's got some really cool back rooms and things like that, so you can really kind of get away from everything. This spot right here, the Italian restaurant, this place is fire, but because all the locals know about it, you're gonna have to be, you're gonna have to be early. You have to grab a reservation if you want to sit in there. One of the downsides, I think, to small town living is if it's a hot spot, then everybody knows it's a hot spot, so you got to kind of jump on it. Now I'm getting a lot of questions with is what are the schools like in Enumclaw? And I obviously cannot steer you guys either way. So what I would tell you, check out niche.com, check out some of those other things, but really, like I said, reach out to us, make that phone call. I can kind of share a little bit more with you, kind of if the school system here would be a good vibe for your family, for your kids, like what they offer, what they do. All right, now here we are, we've hit Cole Street. So as you can see, it gets a little bit busier. There's always live music going on the weekends. A lot of this street is actually shut down through certain parts of the year, with having the breweries and things like that out here. A lot of people like to come out, celebrate. They'll put out fire pits in the winter. Come out here, have a drink, just chill out. Here's that Rainier Bar and Grill I was telling you about. So really cute little place with a lot of antique shops, a lot of vintage wear, little boutiques, things like that. It does have its own licensing office, which is really nice because if you get stuck in the city, you could be waiting there for friggin' hours, like literally hours. So having one just right there, huge plus. This is a little bit of Enumclaw. I'm gonna put the drone up in the air, kind of show you around a little bit. All right, we are at the trailhead right here of the Cal Magnuson Trail at Mount Peak. Here's the thing you need to know about people in Enumclaw. They're very, very active and outdoor lifestyle, like these hikes at Mount Peak, like traveling down to the national park, is something that is super, super common. So if you're someone that really enjoys hiking, kayaking, riding horses, just riding an ATV around through a bunch of trails, maybe mountain biking, then Enumclaw is going to be a really good fit for your family. In fact, we did Pinnacle Peak on the other side of the mountain last year, and it was absolutely a kind of a wild experience. We got lost on the trail, ended up turning the wrong way, even with All Trails, which is a great app to download. But we ended up climbing rocks freehand. There is a really, really cool lookout tower at the top, but good Lord, not really what I would recommend, that you do. Stay on the trails when you're doing this. And speaking of outdoor lifestyle, you know, Enumclaw is considered that gateway into Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier National Park, if you head down the 410 and you just keep trucking, it's gonna take you right by Crystal Mountain, which is kind of the premier ski resort for the area. There's a sick restaurant at the top. You can take the gondola, go all the way up, and then it's right up there with just crazy views of the mountain and the Cascades, you know, because Enumclaw right here is kind of nestled on that plateau and then kind of the foothills of the Cascades. So you really get, you know, just those incredible views. And the national park is, it's so beautiful. I mean, look at all this greenery here. Like, you guys, you don't have hills like this. You don't have these mountains, these rocks, the moss. You don't got it in a lot of places, but you got it right here in Enumclaw. Go up to the mountain. I just took the kids up there. It was actually still really snowy, and it's summer. In fact, today it's gonna be like 90 degrees, which in the PNW is basically like a living version of hell. You know, our climate stays kind of in that 40 to 75 range, right? But up to Tipsu Lake up there, Finley actually got a hold of the GoPro and kind of spun out with it. So here's a little clip of him checking that out.
Oh, this is gonna be crazy. My hair, oh, ew, muddy. Oh, it's cold actually. Jake, not that cold actually.
Not that cool.
Oh, I guarantee you it is.
Not to me.
Okay. So going up the mountain, you know, basically is free to go explore. There's a lot of trails, a lot of paths, a lot of mountain biking, a lot of hiking. You can see a lot of amazing wildlife. And Enumclaw really sets you up as the open door to that world. So if you like the country living, if you like Main Street, and you love the outdoors, and honestly a little bit more of a conservative political landscape, this is probably a killer spot for you. Now, you kind of got an idea of the area. Let's talk a little bit about housing. If you're gonna relocate out here, you know, being a suburb of Seattle, it's probably gonna be crazy expensive, right? Let's find out. All right, so when it comes to living in Enumclaw, there is few questions kind of arise when it comes to housing, especially, you know, really being close to Seattle, where everything, you know, a shack is going to end up costing you $1 million. And, you know, a lot of the suburbs of Seattle really kind of carry that same exact crazy ass price point. Now, Enumclaw being, you know, a little further away, a little bit more rural, you get a break. So if this is your vibe, then you're really set, because you're not paying the Seattle prices and you're not in the Seattle type environment, which I'm guessing is probably exactly what you would want in the very first place anyways. And you know, that was, you know, a big thing for us. Like I said, we relocated from the Midwest. We did not want to pay the Seattle prices. So Enumclaw was one of those options that it really broke that mold for us, and I guess it probably really could for you too, depending on what you're wanting to do, right? So the average home price, you know, here in Enumclaw sits at somewhere around between that like $600,000 to $650,000 price point. And of course, all of that is varied. You know, there's a lot of factors that go in. You know, it's not a cookie cutter home. You have newer build communities. You have a lot of farms here, and more towards downtown, you really have kind of a big cluster of older properties as well. So all that kind of gets factored into what you can really expect to pay for a house whenever you would move out to Enumclaw. The other thing though to consider with Enumclaw, is also the fact that you are in King County, so you're gonna have those King County taxes coming at you, which are a little bit more than Thurston County or what Pierce County has in the way of taxes. Again, that's something we can talk about, when you reach out to us. We can look at some of those numbers, compare some other areas. Places like Buckley and Ording are also very reminiscent of this particular area too. So, this might be the jump off. We just got to, really figure it out. So now I kind of have a broad idea of what home prices and what the area is like here in Enumclaw. Let's just take a second and let's go check out a couple properties here in town so you can really get, your hands on one per se, and see if it makes sense for you. So let's go check those out. All right, so here we are as promised at property number 1 in Enumclaw. Now this one is in Mount Peak Village. In fact, right behind us, that's Mount Peak right there. So you get a view of that mountain. This home is sitting on a cul-de-sac at this quiet little community outside of town. So again, you're not gonna have really any pass-through traffic. Cul-de-sac, of course, is gonna be safe, more safe if you wanna be out, riding bicycles, or maybe you have kids that wanna go out and run around. A cul-de-sac is always a super great option for them. So this property is this guy right here. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property. It was built back in 1991. It is a little more inexpensive than the average home would be here in Enumclaw, and I think a lot of that really has to do with the fact that it just really hasn't been updated kind of since it was built. If you can see here in the pictures, a lot of these things, like the crazy pink bathroom, just haven't quite yet got brought up. I will tell you though, that walk-in closet is absolutely freaking fire. I mean, who wouldn't want to have that? And then of course, you do have views out the back of Mount Peak. So really, it's a pretty good property, something you could move into, have a very safe location, and update it, as you go, as you're the homeowner, and really bring that value to where it's at, where the average value would be. So if you're looking for something that's kind of quiet, in a little neighborhood, a little cul-de-sac, out of town, under the average value, that's kind of something that you could expect to see out here in Enumclaw. So now that we've done that, let's take a quick drive around the neighborhood. I'll show you what some of the rest of these homes look like, and then we'll get on to our second house. All right, so here we are in our second neighborhood. Like I said, there's stuff out of the area and there's stuff more in town. So I wanted to bring you in, show you one in town that sits at about the average price point for Enumclaw. So this one is gonna be at $685, it's a little bit higher, but remember that average price we talked about earlier kind of takes into account like condos and everything else. So this is sort of where we're seeing quite a bit of homes being sold at. You can tell this is a really mature neighborhood. It's super freaking quiet. This house has partial views of Mount Rainier and Mount Peak, which is sick. So here it is right here. Now it looks basically brand new, but I gotta tell you, this house was actually originally built in 1927. So crazy old house. Again, if you're coming from, you know, the South or the Midwest, man, these old homes kind of just, again, resonate. They hit with me. I don't know if you're, you know, coming from Texas, but this kind of hits the spot, right? It's a 4-bedroom, it's 2-bath. It's got a couple bedrooms downstairs. The upstairs has got a spare bedroom, and then of course, you know, your primary suite with a beautiful bathroom there. And I show you the pictures there of it. I really like the flow of the open concept of this house too. I think it makes it really nice for entertaining. You see the way that kitchen kind of moves into the front room. And then of course, man, my car guys or my crafters back there, there's a detached shop and garage. So you can work on the car, you can craft, you can do your woodworking, whatever it is you want to do, all right there. And then you can come inside and eat on your quartz countertops and, you know, all the nice new stuff. This is actually, it's basically a brand new home. Like, I'm really surprised at how well they did taking care of this and updating it. I think it's definitely going to be one that does not stay on the market for very long at all. So this is kind of what you would expect, you know, 2,250 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. It's kind of your average, you know, home out here for basically $685. So now you've kind of got to look at what that looks like. Let's cruise around this quiet, peaceful little neighborhood and check out some of the other properties so you can get a feel if it's something for you. And then we will be off to our very last house. And it, guys, it's a surprise. We're going over $1 million, so don't miss it. Okay, for real, look at the size of this tree. Like, it is gigantic. We're here at our third house in Enumclaw. This guy right here behind me. I'm super excited to share this with you because it's one of my favorite things. It is a mid-century modern home that has land. That's right, land in town. You're never gonna see that here in Washington. That's that just damn near doesn't exist. But this one, dude, it has it. Now, it is 1.6 million for the house and the 20 acres here in town that you're gonna get, but it's just really cool to know that it even exists anymore. The neat thing about this property here is it's built in the 70s. You know, it's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. It's a little over 3,200 square feet, but pretty much everything is original. So if you really dig that mid-century modern vibe, this property is gonna have a lot for you. You can have that really cool setup. The front room, big vaulted ceilings with floor to ceiling windows in there. Crazy space to entertain. Got an oversized garage, like 840 square feet, and literally your own world that you live in. And you know, you come out of your house, you got views of the mountains back there. And I know it's a little bit hard to see, but from here it's crystal clear, along with no neighbors really close to you. So again, if you come from a place where you've been used to having more space and more land, this could be something that, you know, really, really works for you. I love the green. It's very Pacific Northwest. You know, everything about this property could be really, really cool. I'm gonna throw some photos from the internet on there of it so you can kind of see some of it, but everything is oversized. You've got beautiful plants. These mature trees, dude, kill for this stuff. Kill for it. You know, the Midwest, it was flat. We had tiny trees. I'm seeing a lot of people coming out of Oklahoma and Texas right now. They got like a little tree this tall in their yard, and it's super flat. So if you're over that vibe, right here, it's definitely got it for you. Now you've gotten to see a little bit about Enumclaw, what life is like here. You've checked out really 3 different homes in 3 different areas at 3 really completely different price points. So hopefully this will let you know if Enumclaw is the right fit for you or not. But either way, reach out to us, phone call, text, or emails. We're literally getting phone calls, text, emails from people every single day, from people just like you who are looking to move out here to the Seattle-Tacoma area, guys, and we couldn't love it more. So whether you're looking at making a move in like 3 days or 3 months, reach out to us. We got your back when moving to SeaTac. And until next time, can't wait to show you around.